Okay, guys, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of a warm up, and then we're going to talk about area of composite figures, which we touched a little bit on the review. So on the warm up, the first thing you were supposed to do is to go ahead and find the perimeter of the square. So perimeter is adding up all sides, so that's going to be 40 centimeters. And then the area is going to be where you multiply to the side, so that's going to be 10 times 10, which is just going to be 100 centimeters squared. So it says, what do you think will happen to the perimeter and area of the side lengths when it's a scale factor of 1/2? Now, again, guys, that means the scale factor is whenever you multiply that number times 1/2. But it's asking about the side lengths. So that's whatever y'all thought. There was no right or wrong answer. So whatever y'all thought, then you went ahead and put it there. Then it says find the new area and perimeter. And then it's asking what is the ratio from new to old. So let's go ahead and find it. If we're going to scale factor it to 1/2. If we scale factor to 1/2, it's going to be 5, 5, 5, and 5. So whenever you add that up, your perimeter is going to be 5, 10, 15, 20 centimeters. And your area is going to be 25 centimeters squared. So what happens? So if we're going to get the perimeter, if we're going to get the ratio of the perimeter, the first perimeter, so it's going to be new to old. The new perimeter is going to be 20. And the old perimeter is going to be 40, and that is going to reduce to 1/2. So this is going to be the ratio is 1/2. Then it's going to ask for the area, new to old. So we're going to do new, and then we're going to do old. And area, the new is going to be 25, and the old is going to be 100. So it's 1/4. Okay, so what that is saying is the perimeter was cut in half and the area was cut by 1/4. That's basically what that's saying is as far as the ratio. Now it's saying keeping the results in mind, what would happen to the perimeter area if the dimensions were scaled by 1/4? So you don't have to go and you don't have to actually do the math as far as 10 times 1/4, things like that. What you're going to do is you're going to take the perimeter scale factor, which is, so perimeter scale factor. And what you're going to do is you're going to, since you add your perimeters, you're going to do the same thing with the scale factors. So your original ratio is 1/2. You're going to add, so what you're going to do is you're going to add something to equal 1/4. And what that means, guys, is 1/2 plus 1/2 is going to give you 1/4. So what that is saying is that basically your perimeter is going to get smaller to 1/4. That's all that's saying. And then your area, what you're going to do is you're going to take your original ratio and you're going to multiply that times your new scale factor. So it's going to be 1/16. So your scale factor is going to be 1/16 smaller. Your new perimeter would be 1/4 smaller, and then your scale factor would be 1/16 smaller. Now, another way to look at that, because I think that might have confused you guys as far as this goes, whatever your scale factor is, that's how much smaller your perimeter is going to be. I think that's going to be easier. So if your scale factor is 1/4, then the perimeter will be 1/4 smaller. So whatever your scale factor is, that's how much smaller the perimeter is going to be. I think that's going to be a little bit easier for you guys to remember. So we'll keep it at that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go to our notes. There's two ways to go ahead and find composite figures. And composite figures, guys, is whenever you have different figures, one figure in different shapes in that figure. So there's two ways to do it. You're going to have an additive method, and then you're going to have a subtracted method. So like the, whenever I went over the review, whenever you're going to try and find this, is you're going to try and find the areas you know, the areas of the shapes you know, and then you're going to add them together. So that's what the additive method is. So the ones that we know is we're going to have a rectangle. So that's going to be, well, you guys know what a rectangle is. So the easiest way to do that is you're going to find the area of a rectangle, and then you're going to add the other shape that you know. That's going to be the easiest way for you guys to do that. So area of a rectangle is going to be, I'm going to just write it out, area of rectangle is what you're going to do. And then you're going to add it to the other shape we have as an area of trapezoid. And I'm just going to put So the rectangle that I'm talking about is going to be right here. Okay, that's going to be here. Now the sides that are going with it are 5 times 6, and that is going to equal 30. That's the rectangle I'm talking about. Okay, most of you guys probably thought that bottom, but this is going to be the rectangle I'm talking about right here. Okay, now you're going to add it to, I'm going to zoom in. Now you're going to add it to your other figure. Now the other figure you have is going to be that bottom one, and that's going to be your trapezoid, guys. So what that means is you need to figure out what your bases are, because remember, the area of trapezoid is going to be that 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times your height. Don't forget that. So whenever I had first taught it to you guys, I told you all to label what you have. So I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. Base 1 is going to be equal to 12. Base 2 is equal to 15. And then your height, okay, that's going to be your 4. Okay, and that one's going to be right here. And the reason I know that is because this whole side right here was 10. And 10 minus 6, which was part of that rectangle, is going to be 4. Okay, so, and then where I got the 15 from, okay, is right here. And then where I got the 12 from is my 7 plus my 5 as far as up here. So you're going to have 7 plus 5 is equal to 12. So I hope that answered some clarifying questions. So let's go ahead and substitute it in. So we're going to have area of a rectangle. So that's going to be 30 plus, and then the area of a trapezoid was 1/2, 12 plus 15 times 4. And I'm going to put A and then lowercase t for area total. And whenever you put that in your calculator, you're going to get the area total is going to be 84 inches squared. Now moving on. Okay, so what you're going to do here is you're going to take, and again, whenever you have, so the next one's going to be subtractive method. That's where you're going to start boxing in, quote unquote. So what that means is you're going to do this right here, and you're going to go ahead and box, you're going to enclose your figure. So that's what that means. So the first shape that I see is going to be the rectangle. So I'm going to do area rectangle. And then since I'm going to basically subtract whatever it is that's interrupting that figure. So for this example, what's interrupting the figure or what's causing it to get cut or whatever the case is going to be this figure right here. Okay, so that figure right there, that is going to be called a trapezoid. So that's how we figure that out. So the whole thing, and then you're going to subtract whatever it is that's missing, that's cutting it, whatever word that's going to make it stick out. So the area of the rectangle, that's where you're going to get your 25 times your 17. So that's going to be 25 area total, 25 times 17 minus, and the area of a trapezoid, again, guys, that's going to be my 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times your height. And then we need to figure out our bases. So then that's going to be, we're going to figure that out. So we're going to take, so to find out one of our bases, one of them's a little bit obvious. So then we're going to take the other one. We're going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to do 25, which is the whole total at the top, guys. So we're going to take, to find one of our bases, the whole length, let me do a different color. The whole length of this is going to be 25. So we're going to do 25 minus 5 minus 3, and that's going to give us our missing part. So whenever we do 25 minus 5 minus 3, that's actually going to give us the 17, and that's going to be this right here. And then our other base is going to be right here. And then our height is going to be right here. So our base 1 is 11, base 2 is 17, and our height is going to equal 8. So when I go plug that in, it's going to be minus, and put these in parentheses. That might be a little bit easier because we're subtracting. Minus 1/2 times 11 plus 17 times 8, and that's going to be our total. So that's going to get us, let me break that down a little bit, it's going to get us 425 minus 112, and that's going to get us 313 centimeters squared. So again, guys, take the bigger picture and then subtract it from the smaller figure that's cutting it, that's interrupting it, things like that. I think the hardest part is figuring out your shape. Example 3. So we see a circle, so that's going to be our bigger one. So we're going to take the area, circle, and we're going to minus it times this figure. Now this one is a little bit tricky because it's easy to think it's a rectangle. However, because we see this symbol right here, it is not a rectangle. That is telling us there is a height. That's the biggest thing. So that means there's a height. So this isn't just your regular rectangle. If it has a height, that's going to be a trapezoid. Okay, so that's going to be a trapezoid. Okay, actually, let me start putting AT for area total. Let me do that for the other one and for this one, area total. So that way it's an actual formula. I apologize, guys. Now, area of a circle. So that's going to be area of a circle area. That's going to be pi r squared. So just remember that one. So what is our r? So so if our height is 5, so actually it might be a little bit easier to do the trapezoid formula. So I'm going to put a trap, and that's going to be 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times your height. So base 1 is going to be that 19, base 2 is going to be the 26, and then your height is going to be 5. So now remember, the height is the full length as far as that particular figure. So what we need to do to get the I apologize, I'm trying to think about it, is going to be not confusing. The height is going to be only for the trapezoid. Let me clarify that. The height is only for the trapezoid. It is not the actual circle. So this number right here, 26 is going to be our diameter. So that goes across the entire circle. So what you're going to do is you're going to get half of 26 to figure out what is my radius, and that's going to be 13. So make sure you're writing diameter is 26 and radius is going to be the 13. So now I can go in and I can substitute. So my area total is going to be pi. My r is 13. I'm going to square it minus, and let me put a bigger parenthesis around there, 1/2 base 1 plus base 2, oops, plus base 2 times your height, okay? And then that's going to get you, area total is going to get you 169 pi minus 112.5. And then if you want to get a little bit more, like a rounded answer, your area total is about 418.429 inches squared. Either one of these answers is correct. Just remember how I taught y'all that last time. Sometimes it can ask for a rounded number, so that's how you're going to get that. If you're not getting that in your calculator, please just take a second to play with your calculator and do that. Now, the last part I'm going to do is just a little bit of different examples. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on the subtraction because the addition is a little bit easier to understand. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and box these in. Okay. So I have kind of two rectangles, right? I have the bigger one, which is the one that comes all the way around, and then I have that smaller chunk right there. So I'm going to have an area total. I'm going to put large rec minus small rec, which rec standing for rectangle. My larger rec is going to be out rectangle, is going to be this one right here, and my smaller one is going to be this one for those of us who couldn't see that. Okay, so let me go ahead and erase that back out. Still close that in. So the area of the larger rectangle is going to be my 15 times my 20. So my larger rectangle is going to be 15 times 20 minus, and my smaller rectangle is going to be my 10 times my 10. So this is going to be my 10 right here, and this is going to be my 10. So 10 minus 10. So your area total is going to be 300 minus 100, and your area total is going to be 200 centimeters squared. I haven't, oh, I did put the other on the other ones. I thought I didn't put the square. So this is going to be 200 centimeters squared. Again, take the bigger figure and subtract it from that smaller one that's interrupting it. Okay, guys? And my last example is going to be, again, I have that big triangle, right? So I have the big figure, which is area triangle. Keep forgetting that area total, guys. I apologize. Minus, and that figure that's interrupting it, this figure right here, that's the one that we're going to subtract it from, right? Because that's the one I'm enclosing at the bottom. Right? And that's going to be, that shape is going to be area rectangle. Okay, or rec. Okay, so the area of a triangle, okay, so triangle area. Okay, going back to our notes is going to be base times height divided by 2. Okay, or it was that 1/2 base times height. It doesn't matter, whatever was easier for you to remember. That's just the one I kind of stuck with. Okay, so the area of a triangle, so for your base, that's going to be your 20, right? Because that's going to be, your base of a triangle is going to be all the way across, and the height is going to be going up as well. Okay, so let me erase that so it doesn't get too messy. Your height is going to be 20. And then for the rectangle, I'm going to do that a different color. You're going to have 15 times 5. Okay, so your area total is going to be base, which is 20, times your height, which is 20, divide by 2, minus, and then length times width is going to be 15 times 5. And then you're going to do area total. This is going to get you 200 minus 75. Area total is going to be 125 centimeters squared. Now, the one thing I didn't do that I normally do, guys, is I didn't put the equations that I want you to substitute in between. If that helps you, please do it. I just didn't do it for this particular one because it could have got kind of smushed together. So just remember that. So what you're going to do now, guys, is you're going to work on the actual handout that your second packet. Do as much as you can, and you're still going to turn that in at the end of today.